is the system working? Yes or no? And we only get to know that from the people that use it in our counties. Because when the system doesn't work, then it gridlocks the service delivery. That's the discussion we're going to have. What we have a problem with is if the system is either rushed and it's not well piloted successfully before it's fully implemented, and if there is no parallel run in case it doesn't work. Because some of the things that we're procuring are things that can't wait.
All right, that's the chairperson of the Council of Governors, Governor Ahmed Abdullahi, and the Cabinet Secretary was here to say that part of the reason why people are opposed to that is because they don't want it to work. He also said that at the time, only 4 counties had gotten clearance from the, only 4 counties which had gotten clearance from the control of budget had actually gone ahead to upload their budgets. So ideally how it should happen is that once the budget has been approved, it is uploaded into the IFMI system. Then the electronic government procurement system takes that budget from IFMIS, and now procurement plans can also be uploaded for different procuring entities to go ahead and carry out or implement their procurement plans. So I'm just wondering, because I want us to tie this up, Mheshimiwa Mbui, if there are all these challenges from the users, why is the government insisting? Who is the audience?
Yeah, I think sometimes I don't know, but personally I'm always very suspicious that I think you know, there could be some attempt at you know, maybe playing politics, or maybe I don't know, because if you look at what this process is, instead of doing a manual process, they are saying now we do the electronic process, and they are saying you will never now do the manual one. But look at the procurement process. The procurement process is not changing. The Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act is still going to be implemented on the matters of procurement. It's only the way by which we do the procurement. Now, procurement involves tendering. Mm-hmm. The tenders will be done just the way they've always been done, only now it will be done electronically. There will be a tender evaluation process. This is done by individuals. I mean, I'm saying this because there's this myth that, you know, suddenly when we go e-procurement, all those manipulations will no longer take place. That's not true, because at the end of the day, people will do their tenders, yes, that has always been done, there's no change to that, but then somebody will sit and do the evaluation. It will not be the system that will do the evaluation. The evaluation must be done by a committee that will go through the documents that are uploaded into the system and make a decision. There will also be an awarding, at a point of which the tenders will be awarded. Again, that will also not be done by a system. It will also be done by individuals. So at the end of the day, this argument that, you know, when you go e-procurement, suddenly we know the system is cleaner. Manipulation can always take place because people want to manipulate. Can manipulate either manual or even electronic systems. So for me, I think what is more important is to agree that we've been rushing things in this country. And if we can take our time and make sure that this system is working and change the laws that are pertinent, because we need to change the law if you want to outlaw the manual one. And I will tell you this, I will oppose any attempt to remove the possibility of doing manual, because even electronic systems fail. What happens when the e-procurement system fails? What happens when the network is down? Does that mean people cannot buy medicine? So people will die in hospitals because they can't buy medicine? Let the two systems work hand in hand, and then what they can agree is come to Parliament and say, let the first system be the e-procurement. Whenever it fails, for whatever reason, then you can fall back on the manual one. That would be a good system. But then when you come and rush it and say,
but from now we're doing,
it's politics for me, Sam, it's politics.
Don't you think if you did that, then you're already opening an opportunity for people to claim that the electronic system failed? You
know, Sam, let's be honest, even your phone hangs. There are times when you are in some place, you can't even receive a call. It's the same thing. So this is an electronic system. It can fail. So what happens when it fails? Does that mean goods and services for the whole country cannot be procured? Even our normal systems that we have, you've had the complaints in SHA, you've had the complaints all over the country on not just any system that is electronic. There are times when it comes to a point when it is not working. I'll tell you that even things like NSSF, when everybody is trying to log on at the same time at the end of the month, those systems actually sometimes delay the process. There are people who try and want to upload their records onto NSSF, and it takes a day or two because the systems are overloaded. Right. Even KRA systems also do get overloaded. So for me, I'm saying let us have a conversation.
Does KRA system have a manual backup?
Yes, but we've always actually done manual returns. It's only now they've said they're making it easier by allowing people to only do it electronically. These is it P13 forms? No, they've always been manual. Some
P9.
P9, yeah, P9. They've always been manual.
It's been a couple of years, Mheshimiwa Mbui. Mheshimiwa Madenge, so then, with all this opposition, how, if it is not through the e-government procurement system, how then do we deal with the procurement corruption?
Sam, from the onset, going e-procurement is desirable and it is supported by everybody across the board.
That's not what you're getting.
What the issue, the point of departure is the sudden, that from now, henceforth. That is the point of departure. And Sam, this year, on the KRA systems, for the first time, KRA had to extend the filing of returns online.
By a day.
That extension in itself tells you how even an organization that has worked with online filing for quite some time recognizes that there are instances where exemptions would have to be made. And on procurement, a provision for circumstances under which this system, procuring entities may be exempted, a criteria. An example is in emergency situations or when we have calamities. If today, because during the rainy season, we see a lot of sanitation facilities in our schools sink. We've seen instances where bridges have been washed away, cutting off communication. Do we still go through this process?
But electronic government procurement would actually, or rather electronic procurement would appear more efficient than manual in situations of emergency.
And I agree. And that's what we are saying. Then in those circumstances and in areas that are remote, then what happens? And some, in the education sector, with the implementation of the learning gadgets, we saw a lot of schools in remote areas, an attempt to support them with connectivity. Today, if we audit, we find a lot of them still remain unconnected. While there are situations where real circumstances exist that naturally would hinder a procuring entity from following this directive, there should be room for them to be exempted.
Okay. So
eventually,
I hear you, because I think particularly you have touched on education institutions, because even them, they have to do the procurement on the e-platform. Let me hear from Mheshimiwa Kenan here on your final word on this particular topic, on the way forward.
I think we are mixing too many things. First of all, there's endemic corruption within our procurement system. That's a reality. Do we need avenues to eradicate or reduce this? We all need it. Thirdly, we have a number of laws. The debate right now is this. We are all desirous of having an effective, workable, corruption-free procurement system. And I think let's give credit where it's due. This government, over the last 3 years, has made critical decisions. Critical decisions that the past regimes actually were either fearful or avoided. And the benefits are already being seen right now. And some of the benefits will be seen in the next few years. And therefore, we need to appreciate some of the key steps, reforms in NSF. You can see NSF used to collect 23 billion. Right now, I'm told they are collecting almost 60 billion. The reforms in SHA, the reforms in housing. These things...
60 billion in how long?
Annually, that's what I'm told.
Okay.
So you see, some of these reforms ought to have been done in the 60s, immediately after independence. But they're being done right now. And the challenge is whenever you attempt new things, there's all sorts of the hula blues. There are people who do not want change. And I think this thing has been costly. Some, if you remember, some of the decisions that ought to have been made in 1968. In 1968, the GDP of South Korea was the same as that of Kenya. Today, the GDP of South Korea is 50 times that of Kenya. 50 times that of Kenya. And yet, South Korea has no known natural resource. In 1968, Kenya was a donor nation. And in fact, a leading country in the livestock sector. Today, we're struggling. Look, compare Kenya and Botswana. So individuals have made critical decisions. So I think we need to commend the government for thinking out of the box and coming up with critical decisions. However unpopular they are today, might add value to the well-being of the people of Kenya in the years to come. That is critical. We need to support it. But the other bit is, when these changes come, do it procedurally,
all right,
do it legally, do it constitutionally, and carry everybody on board. What I expected the government to do is to have a period for piloting, a period to carry everybody on board. And that's what actually the governors are talking about. That's what the members of parliament...
They had been piloting, including in 4 counties.
Okay, maybe I think that was done in... I've had this actually from if that was there, then this ought to have been brought actually to the public attention. What we need to do right now, we do not need to create a crisis out of this.
All right.
The government through the executive has made a decision through that circular. Parliament has made a decision through the annulment of
the circular.
The circular.
Yeah.
We have the Public Procurement, the Asset Disposal Act. We have the Constitution. There's need now to put all this together and come up with one acceptable avenue that will carry the entire public actually on board. Because all of us, let me say this, all of us are desirous of rooting out corruption. And let me be the advocate of the members of Parliament. As a member of Parliament, I don't see anywhere where I'm involved in procurement process. Completely, and therefore...
If the government goes ahead and implements this e-procurement based on that circular, then what?
No, let's not anticipate that, because the government also must follow the
Oh, they already said that.
Let's see what happens. But for now, what I'm trying to say is this: let's go through this. Don't waste a lot of time. An amendment can come actually in the next few days. Remove this. These are the manual.
Mheshimiwa Kenan, I mean, if you don't have an answer, it's fine. But if Parliament, I mean, if the executive goes ahead and implements that circular, what would Parliament do?
The law, anybody who disregards the resolution of Parliament, there's a parliamentary sanction. And that is actually clearly stipulated. And therefore, I do not want to speculate on what Parliament will do, because Parliament decisions actually are final.
Okay.
And are binding. So let's see. Legislative decisions are actually binding. That's one of the roles actually of Parliament. So let's see what happens when we reach there. But for now, if I were in the executive, I'll move with the speed. The next 2-3 days, bring an amendment, subject it to public participation. In the next 1 month, the whole thing is harmonized. This will actually come to an end.
Let's transition to the other topic, which is you'll find it quite heavy.